Welcome to One Piece Recap. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Warning: spoilers ahead.
One Piece Recap.
The series begins with a barrel floating in the water. Aboard a passenger ship, two sailors spot the barrel floating in the sea. The ship is hosting a formal dance for the rich passengers, and among them, a pretty young girl is invited to dance. The two sailors cast out a rope to reel the barrel in. However, when they pull it in, another sailor spots a pirate ship in the distance, a pink one, belonging to the pirate Alvida. The pirate ship, known as the Miss Love Duck, fires its cannons, and the barrel is knocked out of the sailor's hands, sent rolling into the kitchen. Panic ensues as the pirate ship attacks the crew's vessel, pulling up beside it and allowing the pirates to board, led by Alvida. While pirates are attacking the ship, Koby, a young boy who is essentially a slave of Alvida, sneaks into the kitchen and notices the barrel. As he is rolling it away, several pirates come in and ask why he's sneaking around. They then proclaim that they are thirsty, and just as one of the pirates is about to smash open the barrel with his fist, it bursts open and out jumps Monkey D. Luffy, shocking everybody. The pirates try to attack him, but they are easily defeated and flee, and Koby is left intrigued by Luffy. Luffy and Koby head to the ship's storage cellar and Luffy starts eating apples out of a crate. While in the cellar, Luffy asks if they are on a pirate ship. Koby replies that they are not, but rather on a cruise ship being raided by pirates. Luffy then explains how his dinghy was destroyed in a whirlpool and how he barely survived by jumping into the barrel. Then, Koby explains how he ended up getting picked up by Alvida's pirates and how he has been their slave ever since. Luffy then mentions his dream and wants to become the Pirate King, which causes Koby to lose it, realizing that Luffy is a pirate. While this conversation is being held, Alvida's pirates tell their captain that there is a barrel monster aboard the ship and are all oblivious to the fact that Nami is robbing them blind. Alvida bursts through the ceiling of the cellar and sees Luffy, mentioning how he is not Roronoa Zoro. Luffy then asks who the fat lady is, infuriating Alvida. Alvida attacks, but Luffy picks up Koby and launches himself out of the cellar and onto the deck. He is attacked by Alvida's pirates but knocks them all out using a Gomu Gomu no rocket attack. When everyone is shocked by this, Luffy explains that he is a rubber man who ate the rubber fruit. He says he wants to find One Piece and is currently looking for a crew, thinking that 10 people are good. Alvida asks Koby who the most beautiful woman in the world is. Alvida, who had trained Koby to stay by her side, is shocked when Koby, inspired by Luffy, stands up for himself and yells that Alvida is a smelly, fat, old hag. Alvida becomes livid and attacks. Her mace strikes Luffy right on the head, but he stays standing. Luffy proclaims that a normal attack like that won't work on a rubber man, then winds back and uses a Gomu Gomu no pistol attack to send Alvida flying, defeating her with one hit. Luffy orders Alvida's remaining pirates to get a boat ready for him and Koby, and they jump into the boat and sail away, briefly seeing Nami in her boat as they head off. Sailing out into the Great Blue Sea, Luffy asks about the pirate hunter Koby mentioned. Koby says that he was captured by the Marines, and Luffy announces his intention of asking him to join his crew. This causes Koby to lose it again. Luffy makes up his mind, saying that he will recruit Roronoa Zoro as his next member. While they are speaking, the scene changes to a nearby Marine base where a man with a green bandana is tied to a cross, looking up. Luffy and Koby aboard their boat, and Koby once again explains how Roronoa Zoro is a demon who takes down men just for the bounty. The boat then arrives at an island, where a large marine base is stationed. Luffy and Koby walk through the town, and at the mention of the names of both Roronoa Zoro and Captain Morgan, the townspeople are thrown into a panic. Luffy and Koby then arrive at the marine base, where Koby thinks it will be his goodbye, as he plans on enrolling in the Marines, but Luffy climbs over the wall and spots Zoro tied to a cross. As the two look at Zoro, a little girl named Rika climbs over the wall with a ladder. She offers some rice balls to Zoro that she made herself, putting her whole heart into it. At that moment, the snobbish Helmeppo, son of Captain Morgan, arrives with several marine soldiers. He eats one of Rika's rice balls and says it's disgusting, since she used sugar instead of salt, and he stomps on them and has her thrown out. When he leaves, Luffy goes up to Zoro and asks him to join the crew. Zoro rejects the offer and refuses to be freed from his bindings since he plans on surviving just to spite Helmeppo. He then eats the flattened rice balls. Luffy and Koby then meet with Rika in the town and Luffy mentions how Zoro loved the rice balls. Luffy asks if Zoro actually is evil, but Rika replies that he is really a good guy. One day, Helmeppo brought a vicious wolf into the town bar, but Zoro knocked it out to protect everyone inside. He then knocked down Helmeppo, but Helmeppo convinced Zoro to have himself arrested in an exchange for the people in the bar not being executed. Luffy, Koby, and Rika walk into a restaurant and find Helmeppo talking about how he's going to execute Zoro the next day. Luffy, furious at Helmeppo's dishonesty, punches him, and Helmeppo runs off to complain to his father. Captain Morgan, at that time, is having a statue of himself erected on top of the marine base, and he punches his son and calls him worthless after Helmeppo tells him what happened. Luffy, meanwhile, goes to untie Zoro, but Zoro mentions how his swords were taken away. Luffy says he will go get them, so he uses Gomu Gomu no rocket to launch himself up to the roof of the marine base. In doing so, he knocks over the statue and causes it to break. Morgan orders that Luffy be executed, so Luffy grabs Helmeppo and runs into the base, searching for Zoro's swords. Outside, Koby is trying to untie Zoro and explains the situation to him. All the while, Nami is sneaking around the marine base. Luffy drags Helmeppo into Helmeppo's room, where the swords are. Meanwhile, Captain Morgan and his soldiers surround Zoro and Koby, and Morgan orders that they are both executed. The soldiers hold up their rifles and open fire, and Zoro thinks how he cannot die, and remembers Kuina. However, before the bullets can reach them, Luffy leaps from the marine base and uses his rubber body to block the bullets and send them flying. When Zoro is shocked and asks who he is, Luffy responds that he is Monkey D. Luffy and that he will become the Pirate King. Luffy delivers Zoro's sword and says he didn't know which one was his, so he took all three. Zoro explains that he uses all three for his sword style. Luffy demands that Zoro choose between joining his crew or dying there. While the Marines are in shock at how Luffy was able to deflect their bullets, Zoro agrees to join his crew. Captain Morgan realizes that Luffy must have eaten a devil fruit, and after Zoro asks him, Luffy responds that ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Captain Morgan explains about the mysterious devil fruits, describing examples such as the ability to breathe fire and the ability to create tsunamis. Luffy then hands the three swords to Zoro in exchange for Zoro joining his crew. Zoro accepts the terms, saying how he cannot die yet, and that he must fulfill his vow. He then says that if Luffy gets in the way of his dream, Zoro will kill him. With his swords drawn, Zoro frees himself from the cross. Morgan orders the soldiers to attack, so they draw their cutlasses and charge. Luffy uses Gomu Gomu no Muchi to wipe them all out. This makes Morgan livid, so he removes his coat and declares that he is Axe Hand Morgan and will handle the job himself. Luffy accepts the challenge and charges at Morgan, taking a swing, but Morgan blocks with his axe. The two engage in a great battle, with all of Morgan's attacks missing and Luffy gaining the upper hand, knocking Morgan to the ground and pounding him with his fists. Helmeppo then puts a gun to Koby's head, ordering that Luffy stop attacking or else he will kill Koby. Koby declares that he will not stand in the way of Luffy's dream, even if it means death. Luffy turns toward Helmeppo and gets ready to attack, but Morgan stands up behind Luffy. Just as Morgan swings his axe, Luffy uses Gomu Gomu no pistol to strike Helmeppo in the face and send him flying. Morgan's axe, however, does not reach Luffy's head because Zoro slashes him across the chest. Morgan collapses on the ground defeated, and Luffy, Zoro, and Koby are surprised to see the Marines toss their weapons into the air in celebration of their captain's defeat. Elsewhere, Nami finds the location of a map in the Marine base, but there is a note from Buggy there instead, saying he took the map already. Later, Luffy, Zoro, and Koby are in the town restaurant with Rika and her mom. They eat their fill, and Rika asks where Luffy is headed to next. Luffy replies that he is going to the Grand Line to find One Piece, and Koby responds with horror, saying how the Grand Line is a dangerous place, also known as the Pirate's Graveyard. Even so, Luffy remains confident in his dream. Zoro asks how many members there are in Luffy's crew, and Luffy replies that Zoro is the first one. He then points out the boat they'll be riding in. At that moment, the Marines step into the restaurant, and as Luffy and Zoro are pirates, the Marines order them to leave the island immediately. Though the townspeople are unhappy about this since Morgan abused them too, the leader, Lieutenant Ripper, points out that they will not report them to Marine headquarters to repay the favor for getting rid of Morgan. Luffy and Zoro get ready to go, and Ripper asks if Koby is with them. Luffy goes on to explain that Koby spent time aboard Alvida's pirate ship as her slave, and this makes Koby angry as it will ruin his chances of enrolling in the Marines. Koby has had enough and he punches Luffy, causing Luffy to retaliate and punch Koby. The Marines see Koby is not with them, and so order Luffy and Zoro to leave. As they leave, Koby asks to join the Marines, and is accepted. Outside, Luffy and Zoro climb into their boat, and as they set sail, the Marines salute them for saving the town, including Koby. Koby vows to meet Luffy again, as a Marine meeting a pirate. Later, Zoro asks Luffy why he wants to become the Pirate King so badly. Luffy replies that he made a promise to the man that gave him his straw hat, and that he will not break that promise, no matter what. 3 pirates from Buggy's crew that come upon Nami stranded in a boat. She asks them to save her in exchange for payment, but when they climb onto her boat for her treasure, she steals their ship, leaving them stranded in the ocean. Meanwhile, Luffy and Zoro are hanging in their boat, drifting at sea, and both of them wonder why they do not have any navigating skills. Suddenly, however, the boat is rocked and Luffy's straw hat blows off of his head, fluttering around through the air. Luffy frantically reaches for it, and Zoro catches it before it lands in the water. Zoro then inquires about the hat's importance, which triggers a flashback showing Luffy's past. Young Luffy is in a bar filled with pirates, the crew of Shanks. Shanks makes fun of Luffy for being a kid, though Luffy thinks he's a man. Usopp remarks that he has a kid about the same age as Luffy. A bandit, named Higuma, then kicks down the door and walks into the bar, ordering some sake. The bartender, a girl named Makino, says that all of the sake has been sold to the pirates in the bar. Shanks offers him a bottle but Higuma smashes it, claiming he is a wanted man with belly.png 8 million on his head. He storms out of the bar, and all of the pirates start to laugh. Luffy gets angry that Shanks did not fight back against Higuma, and in a huff, he spots a purple fruit in a small box, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and eats it. When Shanks notices this he holds Luffy upside down and orders him to spit it out, but it's too late and the effects have already set in as Luffy's body stretches. Shanks tells Luffy that he just ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi, a devil fruit, and now he is a rubber man and will not be able to ever swim again. Later, Luffy finds himself in trouble when he gets attacked by Higuma and his bandits outside. Makino sees this and runs to the mayor for help, who yells at the bandits to stop. Higuma decides he will kill Luffy, but then Shanks and his crew arrive. One of the bandits points a gun at Shanks' head and orders that he stay still, but with insane speed, Lucky Roo shoots the bandit through the head and kills him. Everyone gasps in shock as Shanks explains that they are dangerous pirates. More bandits charge at Shanks, but Ben Beckman steps forward and swings his rifle like a club, taking them all out. Beckman quips that if the bandits were truly serious about fighting them then they should have brought a battleship. Higuma, frightened, throws down a smoke bomb and makes his escape and taking Luffy with him. He flees out to sea in a boat, where he throws Luffy out into the water. Luffy, having eaten the Gomu Gomu no Mi, cannot swim and is about to drown. As Higuma laughs at Luffy's plight, a big sea monster comes up behind him and devours him in one bite. The sea monster then goes for Luffy, but Shanks stops the sea monster as it takes a bite, and with one look drives the beast away. Luffy clutches Shanks and starts crying since Shanks' arm was bitten off by the creature. Shanks replies that it's fine, as long as Luffy is safe. Later, Shanks and his pirates pack up their ship, ready to leave. Luffy decides he will become a pirate on his own and go on a great adventure. Shanks gives his straw hat to Luffy and tells him to return it when Luffy becomes a great pirate and they meet again. The pirates then sail away as the flashback ends. Back on their boat in the present, Luffy spots a pink bird in the sky and decides to eat it. He launches himself at it using Gomu Gomu no rocket, but the bird grabs his head in its beak and flies away. Zoro paddles after it in a fury and comes upon the pirates that Nami left stranded earlier. They try to take over the boat, but Zoro gives them a beating and they end up having to row instead. The pirates mention that they are members of Buggy's crew and that Buggy has eaten a devil fruit, making him one of a kind. The bird, by this time, has flown over a nearby town. In the town is Nami, seen fleeing from Buggy's pirates with a map of the Grand Line. Buggy orders that the bird in the sky to be shot down, and when it does, Luffy comes hurtling down. Nami and Buggy's pirates watch in shock as Luffy lands in front of her, and he stands up, saying it was an interesting experience. Nami pretending that Luffy is her boss, using the distraction to escape. She watches as Luffy takes out Buggy's pirates with a Gomu Gomu no pistol, and so she asks Luffy to join her. Luffy declines, but Nami decides to treat him to lunch, so he goes with her. While eating in an empty house, Nami says that she will stop at nothing to collect 100 million, and Luffy finds out she is a navigator due to her mentioning that she stole a map of the Grand Line from Buggy. When Luffy asks her to join his crew, she refuses because she hates pirates. Nami ties up Luffy and brings him to Buggy as a gesture of goodwill, and Luffy is thrown into a cage. Buggy then throws a party for Nami as she returns the stolen map and asks to join his crew. During the party, Buggy demonstrates the Buggy Ball, a massive cannonball that destroys a whole row of houses. He then orders Nami to blow Luffy up with a Buggy Ball. Nami cannot bring herself to do it, but one of Buggy's pirates takes the matches and goes for the cannon, which results in Nami taking out her wooden staff and knocking him out. The fuse is lit, though, but Nami grabs the fuse with her bare hands to put it out and declares that she hates pirates and will not stoop to their level. Buggy's goons attack her, but Zoro arrives and saves the day, knocking them out. Buggy recognizes Zoro as the pirate hunter, and so he attacks him. Zoro cuts Buggy into pieces, but Buggy's hand floats over to Zoro and stabs him in the side. Buggy gets up, his body whole again. Buggy explains that he ate the bara bara no mi, allowing him to separate himself. Luffy calls Buggy a coward with a big red nose, infuriating Buggy, who throws a knife at him. Luffy catches it between his teeth. Zoro then dashes at Buggy and the two enter into a heated exchange. Zoro slashes through Buggy's midsection to get past him, and he runs to the cannon, flipping it so that it points at Buggy and his crew. Nami lights the fuse, and so the cannon fires a Buggy bomb right at the Buggy pirates as the episode ends. Thank you for watching. Till next time.
One Piece Recap.